What if Robb Stark was warned about the Red Wedding? Let's light the torches and get into it. Winter is coming, and Robb Stark is king in the north.
King of the north! King of the north! King of the north!
And the Trident, because a lot of proud northern families shouted a vow in a smoky hall at Winterfell, and then bled for it across half of Westeros. He's young, brilliant in the field of battle, and unlucky in all the ways that matter in feudal politics. But the biggest mistake he made had to do with women. He broke his marriage pact with House Frey when he wed Jeyne Westerling after the sack of the Crag. Nothing ever good happens when you follow your heart in the Game of Thrones universe. Walder Frey felt mocked, and by a boy playing at a man's game no less. Anger, like Walder Frey's, ripens into something poisonous if you leave it in a miser's heart. Roose Bolton, meanwhile, is the coldest knife in the north. I'm not quite sure whose idea it was to trust a Bolton in the first place. He's patient. He smiles with his eyes closed, and his sigil is a flayed man for a reason. In the books, he's been playing both sides. He lets other men die to keep his options open, sends his bastard to claim Winterfell in the chaos, and trades messages with Tywin Lannister. Why would he want Robb dead? Because with Robb alive, House Bolton will always be second to House Stark. With Robb dead, a path opens. Robb's opening could allow Roose the honor of becoming Warden of the North, gain favor from the Lannisters, and safety for a bastard who seized Winterfell with treachery. For Roose, treason isn't fury, it's math. I always knew math was evil, so we arrive at the twins for the wedding of Edmure Tully and Roslin Frey, the apology feast that will put the quarrel to bed. Bread and salt are offered. Fiddles are tuned and beautifully played for a northern stronghold. And hidden in the galleries are archers with crossbows. Tywin Lannister has given Walder the nod. Roose Bolton sits quiet as snowfall, his decision long scratched in stone. We know how this goes in our unchanged world, but not in this one. Today, we are diving into an alternate reality that will make any Stark fan smile from ear to ear. Today, the Starks are warned. And the person who warns them is Roslin Frey herself. Catelyn Stark notices Roslin the way only a mother sees another girl's fear. Long ignored by her own family, she welcomes Catelyn's warm hand. Throughout the day's rehearsals, which included the seating, the toasts, the order of the procession, Roslin's smiles are porcelain, her hands cold and damp. When the women help arrange her gown, she trembles. When the minstrels practice, she flinches at the scrape of a bow. That night, Roslin requests a private word with Lady Catelyn before the wedding. She's escorted by two aunts who wait outside the door, clucking about lace. Inside, Roslin locks her fingers until her knuckles whiten.
My lady, I'm afraid I'll damn my soul if I keep silent.
Catelyn's heart starts to hammer. She's seen girls in labor, and girls after beatings, and girls forced to marry men older than their grandfathers. This fear is not the fear of a wedding night.
Tell me,
Catelyn says, very gently. Roslin swallows.
I'm told to bow and smile, but my father, he keeps secrets like coins. He thinks the Lord of the Crossing doesn't know I hear things, but the walls are thin and the servants talk. We're to give you bread and salt. Then we're to sing a Lannister song you won't know at first. And when the song is played, crossbows in the galleries will fire. The doors will close. No man of yours is meant to leave the hall alive.
Catelyn stares at the girl, not moving, not even blinking. Somewhere down the corridor a man laughs, and the laugh feels like a knife.
Why are you telling me this?
Catelyn asks finally. Roslin starts to cry, silent tears that slide down her face.
Because the gods are watching. And because I do not hate your son. Or you, my lady. I do not even know him. I do not wish to be the woman whose wedding night is remembered for murders. And they say I will be rewarded with Riverrun's safety if I do as I'm told, and if your men die clean. I don't believe it. I think if I do nothing, the Trident will drown in blood anyway.
Catelyn takes Roslin's hand and squeezes it. She does not ask for proof. She does not call for guards. The proof is in the girl's shaking, in the details she shouldn't know, and in the old way that Freys smile, without their eyes.
You did right.
Catelyn says, steady as Winterfell's stones.
Go now. Tell no one you spoke to me. Do exactly what you're told at the wedding. Do not change a step or a word.
She wipes the girl's cheek with a mother's thumb.
And Roslin, if gods are watching, they sent you.
Catelyn's next breath feels like it's sucked across broken glass. She needs Robb. She needs to move without being seen moving. She needs to be a wolf in a hall of weasels. She finds her son. Robb listens without interrupting. His face changes as little as a cliff face under surf, but Catelyn feels the way his grip tightens around the chair's arm. When she finishes, he exhales.
I'd hoped my breaking Frey's word would cost only me,
He says quietly.
I should have known better.
Don't waste time flogging yourself.
Catelyn snaps, sharper than she means to.
We need to live to be sorry later.
Robb stands at once.
We will, and they won't.
He calls in a handful of his most trusted. Small John Umber, Galbart Glover, Mage and Dacey Mormont, Sir Wendell Manderley, Edmure Tully, who goes pale, but nods, and Sir Robin Flint. He does not summon Roose Bolton. He does not summon men whose loyalty is good, but whose tongues are quicker than their wits. He does not speak to anyone twice. Robb speaks plainly.
They mean to murder us at the feast. Bread and salt or no bread and salt. Crossbows in the galleries. Doors barred. I mean to live through it, and I mean to make them choke on their treachery.
Gods.
Edmure breathes, swaying.
Roslin.
She is the one who told Mother. She's with us, but she cannot help us further. And we cannot help her if we die. Edmure, you'll play the groom to the hilt. Smile, drink, kiss on command. We will take care of the rest.
Small John bares his teeth.
Give the word, your grace. I'll put Black Walder's head on a pike tall enough to see from Oldcastle.
We need more than rage.
Robb says. And there's iron now.
We need a blade hidden in a smile.
They lay out the plan. Arms and armor. The Northern Lords will go to the feast in their gowns and doublets, but beneath them they'll wear mail in every piece a seamstress can hide. Short swords, daggers, and hand axes will be wrapped in linen and tied under tables before dawn by 2 washerwomen who owe their lives to Mage Mormont. Bowstrings, dry, waxed, will be coiled in goblets beneath tablecloths. The Stark men-at-arms will carry serving platters. The platters will be heavier than they should be, because they cover kite shields stacked like trenching stones. Signals. If the minstrels strike up the Rains of Castamere, Robb will stand to toast his uncle and his bride. That's the Frey signal to kill. It will be Robb's signal, too. When he raises his cup, the closest captains will flip the banquet tables and form a shield wall. The Umbermen will seize the main doors from the inside and unbar them. Manderley's men will rush the musicians' gallery with axes. Outside the hall, this is the difference maker. Robb quietly dispatches Grey Wind's handler with a single sentence. I want my wolf at the gate. He insists politely on Grey Wind being kept in the yard under the eyes of Stark men, not locked with Frey hounds. Walder Frey bristles but cannot refuse outright without admitting insult to a king. 10 of Robb's best archers take up the task of guarding horses in the stable yard. Their saddles are already slung with quivers. The crossing towers. Under the pretext of sending wine and wedding gifts, Robb slips 20 picked men, a mix of Crannogmen and Blackwood foresters, into each tower at different hours of the day. They carry no visible arms. They carry strings and bones and the little secrets of river folk. They will find the winding stairs that lead to the galleries. Roose Bolton. Robb wants Roose close, so he invites him to sit at his own table. Catelyn masks her face. It is better to watch a scorpion on the table than to hunt for it under your skirts. Mage Mormont grins like a she-bear who's found a stag.
If this goes right,
She says,
we will shed less blood than we are owed. If it goes wrong,
Small John thumps the table.
Then we die on our feet with blades in hand, not like fattened calves.
Robb takes his mother's hand.
It won't go wrong.
He says. Catelyn sees the boy who ran with ghosts in the Godswood and the king who crushed Jaime Lannister's vanguard in the same face. And she believes him because she must.
Remember,
She tells them all.
we are Starks. They think we are lambs, but wolves feast too, and we are hungry.
The feast. Bread, salt, and steel. The hall is loud, not merry. Freys do not make merry so much as they make noise and call it mirth, but loud enough to make you raise your voice to ask for salt. Walder Frey sits like a bag of old sticks wrapped in furs at the head of it all, wearing history's offense like a crown. His sons gather like crows. His daughters flow like drab rivers here and there, always watching. Above them are galleries where shadows move like spiders over rafters. Bread is offered. Salt is offered. Robb takes it, breaks it, bites, swallows. He chews and chews until Catelyn wonders if he will choke. He doesn't. He smiles at Walder Frey and gives him back a crust, as if he trusts him, like a father.
You remind me of one of my boys.
Walder wheezes.
Short of promise and long on pride.
Robb lifts his cup.
I keep the promises that matter.
He says lightly, and the men who know him hear the edge.
Tonight we make a new one with this wedding. The Riverlands and the North Ride as one.
Edmure does his duty. He grins, red ears and all, and kisses Roslin's hand. Roslin keeps her eyes down, cheeks pale. She's a candle about to gutter in a breeze no one else feels. Roose Bolton sits 2 seats from Robb, cloak pale, eyes half closed.
Long journeys end in long nights. Best to pace oneself.
Catelyn thinks about breaking a dish and pushing a shard into the pale meat of his throat. She folds her hands instead. She watches the gallery. She watches the doors. She watches Grey Wind's shadow flicking like a banner in the yard beyond the open archway. The feast starts dull and turns heavy. The meat is overcooked. The wine is thin. The laughter is false when it's not cruel. Lothar Frey, lame Lothar, hobbles from table to table with apologies for past slights that are too perfect to be sincere. Black Walder drinks like he's trying to swallow a river. Men-at-arms move behind chairs more often than they need to. Then the minstrels begin to scrape their bows across strings in a tune that isn't Riverland's merry. It is a song from another house, another history, another debt. The Rains of Castamere. Walder Frey taps a gnarled finger to the beat. Catelyn meets her son's eyes. Robb rises, cup in hand.
My lords,
He says, clear as a bell.
a last toast to new kin.
And that's the moment the twins learn what a cornered wolf looks like. Robb throws the wine in Black Walder's face. Small John Umber roars a wordless battle cry and heaves the nearest banquet table onto its side. It slams the rushes like a shield dropped from a wall. At the same heartbeat, 6 men wrapped as servers whip the silver platters aside to reveal stacked kite shields painted with dire wolves. They ram them together in a line with a sound like a door slamming. Axes appear from under tablecloths. So do short-arming swords, ugly and honest as butcher's tools. Daisy Mormont, mail glinting under green silk, vaults onto the table and goes straight for the musicians' gallery, with 3 Manderley men on her heels. In the gallery, a Frey crossbowman blinks, pivots, and falls backward with an arrow through his eye, before he can even shout. One of Robb's men, disguised as a stable boy below, has drawn on a shadow he's been watching all night. 10 more strings thrum in the breath that follows, and crossbowmen drop like beads spilled from a torn purse. Black Walder wipes wine from his eyes and snatches for a dagger. But Small John is already there, and Small John's hand is larger than Black Walder's face. He smashes the Frey's head into the table once, twice, and then the head hits the floor and doesn't get back up. Lothar limps for the door to the kitchens, but a Crannog man's knife hisses end over end and pins his sleeve to the oak. He yelps and tries to tug free, and Daisy Mormont runs past him like a storm tower on legs, and kicks him in the chest so hard he eats his own teeth. Around the hall, Stark men flip more tables, lock shields, and shove forward. The first bolts from the galleries pop against good oak and iron like acorns in a fire. The second volley never truly comes. The archers in the stable yard call targets like boys at a fair, and Frey crossbowmen cough once or twice and then go silent. Catelyn doesn't scream. She stands up, takes a knife from the roast, and holds it in her hand out of sight under the table. Roose Bolton turns his head slowly toward her, mild as milk.
Lady Catelyn, this is unseemly.
Is it? My son lives. That's all the seemliness I require.
Roose's eyes slide back to Robb, who is coming through the crash and stink with 2 guards at his sides, sword drawn. For a heartbeat, Catelyn thinks she sees disappointment in Bolton's half-lidded gaze, the way a man looks at a hawk and wishes it were a dove. Then Roose reaches for his blade. It never clears the scabbard. Sir Wendell Manderley, gasping, broad, glorious, hits Roose from behind like a cart full of grain rolling downhill. They crash into the high table, plates clanging, meat flying. Roose turns with eel-slippery grace and slides away rather than meet the fat knight's strength, but the moment is gone. He's no longer in control of his place, his balance, or the exact way his death was meant to read in a ledger.
Bolton, hands on the table now. It is finished.
Roose stops. He sets both hands on the table, palms down, so light they barely seem to touch.
Your Grace.
He says in a tone that could be taken for respect from a man less practiced at faking it.
This is a Frey hall. I would not—
Hands flatter. Spread your fingers.
Roose obeys. His eyes flick to Walder Frey, who is 3 breaths into deciding whether to flee, beg, or lie. Small John solves that question by reaching across, seizing the Lord of the Crossing by the collar and the back of his head, and slamming him onto his own trencher. Bread and salt scatter. Walder wheezes like a bellows stabbed through. The song in the gallery dies entirely. A horn sounds outside, 3 long notes. The yard erupts in howling. Grey wind comes in at a run. For a heartbeat, every Frey in the hall remembers exactly what a dire wolf is. Not a dog, not a story. A piece of the older world that eats anything made of meat if it angers the wrong gods. He flows through the open arch like smoke, with fangs, eyes yellow lamps, fur bristling. Frey men-at-arms who had been creeping toward the doors without looking like they were creeping toward the doors stop creeping and start trying very hard not to be seen by the enormous wolf.
Stand aside, men. Let the king's dog greet our hosts.
Grey Wind's teeth close on a Frey guard's sword arm. The man shrieks. Grey Wind shakes once, a violent, efficient motion that rips muscle and certainty, and the rest of the man's life out in a wet sound. Catelyn feels something leave her body that had been knotted under her ribs for months. She does not smile, but she stands a little straighter. The Freys break. Not all at once, and not all of them. Some are brave, some are trained, some are too stupid to know when doom is in the room. But enough of them. The Stark shield wall rolls forward. A Manderley banner appears in the doorway beyond, Trident blue and merman white. The men who were gifts and groomsmen and servers 30 heartbeats ago are killing Freys with the patient skill of people who have done long sums and now are finally collecting. Walder Frey tries to squeal an order. The squeal breaks into a cough and then into a wheeze, and then into silence when Small John's fist closes. Small John leans down and speaks into the old man's ear, very softly.
Bread and salt, you dried little weasel.
The Lord of the Crossing goes limp. It takes time and blood to settle a hole like that. It always does. Men die even when you've planned and prayed and hidden your knives well. Stark bannermen fall. Manderley's Sir Wendell takes a quarrel in the shoulder and keeps fighting until the shoulder stops working, and then fights left-handed. Small John is laughing like a madman by the end, not because he's happy, but because of something older inside him that comes out when men with axes stop pretending they're anything but men with axes. When it's done fast. The sound shifts from slaughter to breathing. The hall smells like hot iron and spilled wine, and roast meat turned to sick. There are bodies underfoot. There are men groaning. There are two kinds of quiet. The quiet of the dead and the quiet of the stunned. And in the middle of that quiet stands a young king with a bloody sword and a living mother, and both of them have more to do. Robb steps onto the dais to speak judgment. Then the gatehouse horn rips the hush in half. A rider staggers in, cloak steaming, thrusting up two messages, one bound in neat crimson silk, the other sealed with a lump of ugly pink wax that stinks of tallow. Robb breaks the red first, eyes skimming a lion's tidy list of terms. His mouth hardens. He tears the pink next. The letters on the page look like they were carved with a knife. Father, Winterfell is ours. Send me the wolf boy and his mother, and I will flay them slow. The north will bend or burn. Ramsay Snow. Grey wind's growl rolls through the rafters. Catelyn meets her son's eyes. There's horror there, and heat, and iron. Robb doesn't need to say anything. He nods to the block. The men of the north move. Somewhere below, the river hammers the pilings like a drum. The battle is coming, and Ramsay has no clue his father failed.
Justice. Then we take back our home.